next, what I'm doing is the front differential drain fill plug. Basically doing the same thing as you did with the transfer case and the rear differential. Just screw that plug out, stick the tube from the transfer pump into the differential, and just pump it in there until it starts to leak back out. Front differential has a fill plug and a drain plug. Of course, when you get ready to drain it, you want to make sure you break the fill plug and then take off the drain plug, drain it, put the plug back in. Usually if you go on FCP, they'll recommend that you replace that with a new one because it has a little rubber seal around it and you can't replace it, so you have to pretty much buy a new one if you want to make sure it doesn't leak. And put that back in place, then stick your transfer pump tube in there and just pump it in there until it comes back out. And you want a nice stream of fluid coming back out, and that's how you know how it's full. Alright. So the last part is filling up the transmission. As you can see here, this isn't the box that my fluid came in. I put it in this box. The reason why I did that is my greatest fear is putting my refill tube inside one of the bottles and then having it tip over, and this shit isn't cheap. So what I did is I put everything inside of this box so that while I'm refilling the transmission, I could stick the refill tube inside of the bottle and use the transfer pump, and I don't have to worry about any of the bottles tipping over and having the fluid go all over the place. It'll just, it might lean a little bit, but it's not going to fall completely over. As you see on the transmission here, it's not a 14 millimeter hex like the front and rear differentials. And the transfer case, it is a 8 millimeter hex head. If you ever want to change out the fluid, the drain port is right here, and that's a 8 millimeter hex head also. But always make sure that you loosen the fill port first. Like I said on the other ones, you don't want to drain it and then you can't get this one off and then you're stuck. So always make sure you crack this if you ever have to take this one off to empty it. Now on these bottles here, let me see if I can turn it. It's this brand. Comes with a fill spout on there. Just pull this top off. I'm not using that because I don't trust it, and it is kind of a tight space to get in it. That's why I'm just going to keep using my transfer pump. But if you want to try and get away with it, you can. I'm not. I'm just going to take this whole plastic piece out here and just use it just like this. Alright, due to camera difficulty, I didn't get to record the last part. So once you get the transmission full and the fluid starts to leak out, what you want to do is get inside the car, turn it on, start off in park, put your foot on the brake, go to reverse, then neutral, put it in reverse, stay there for about 10 seconds, make sure you keep your foot on the brake, you don't want the wheels actually turning. Then shift down to neutral, hold it there for about 10 seconds, then drive for about 10 seconds, then pop it over into sports mode, first gear, 10 seconds, second gear, 10 seconds, put it in the third, but when you put it in third, it'll pop back to second, and then move it back to fourth, wait for it to go back to second, then fifth, then sixth. Every time, just try and go through every gear at least 2 or 3 times just to be on the safe side. And once you do that, I would say wait about another 3 or 4 minutes, then get back under the car, take off the fill bolt, start pumping more fluid in there until it starts running back out. You want to try and do that at a pretty rapid rate. You don't want the car to get all the way to operating temperature, because once that fluid gets over like 50 degrees or so, it'll expand to the point where it'll just start coming out by itself or whatever. You know, you won't have the proper amount of fluid in there for startup or whatnot. So pretty much that's the last part of that. I'm sorry I didn't get it on video for you guys. The first thing you want to do is get this brace here out of the way. Of course, if your car is not in 1,000 pieces like mine, you'll have to remove some exhaust brackets or whatnot. But first, you want to start here if you're where I'm at. So you see, you got a 13 mil bolt there, and there. 3 on that side. I believe you'll have to take these 2 8mm bolts out. And then there's some more over here. I think it's another 3. And then you have to get up in there and screw that guy out. And then it should come right down. Alright, the big bolt in there that goes through the transfer case mount, that is a 18 mil. And there's a nut on the other side, so you'll need a ratchet and a wrench. You might actually want to do that first, because you need the bolts to kind of help hold it in place. Not really, but it'll probably work a little bit better. But yeah. All right, now that you got the brace out the way, you'll see here that's your fill bolt for your transfer case. That takes a 14mm Allen. And your drain bolt is over on this side. You probably want to replace that, so when you buy the fluid for it, usually like a place like ECS or FCP Euro, buy a replacement bolt for that at the same time. You could probably replace both, but it's probably not necessary. I forgot to get this on video, but when I was doing draining the transfer case, I couldn't get this socket in place to get to the drain bolt. It wouldn't fit in between the transfer case and the oil pan, transmission oil pan. So what I ended up having to do is getting a 14 mil Allen. I don't know why. Will you focus? Jeez. It's probably the biggest Allen wrench I done seen, but yeah, just went to Napa and ordered it, 14mm Allen wrench, and I was able to fit it in there in between the transfer case, fill bolt, drain bolt, and transmission pan. Down here, you might want to inspect your transfer case mount. As you can see, mine is cracking, so looks like something else I gotta add to the buy list. Y'all donate me some money. Always make sure you can loosen the fill bolt before you hit the drain bolt, just in case you get in there, you drain it, and then find out you can't get the bolt out, and then you're stuck. So best thing to do is always unloosen the fill bolt first and then hit the drain bolt. Ideally, you want to do this after you've driven around and warmed the transfer case up, but in my case, it's not really an option, so you might want to do that. All right, now that I've got the new trans mount in, or transfer case mount in, my next step is going to be to refill the transfer case. You saw earlier I drained it, so you got to take this plug out, and then you have to get the transfer pump and pull it out of the bottle. which is over there, into the case. Make sure that you use fluid specifically for the transfer case. I got this from FCP Euro. So there's two different kinds. I believe this is one of the brands that you can use specifically for the transfer case. Just go to FCP Euro and look it up, and they should be able to hook you up with it. Alright, you should have the pump, something set up like this. Over here to the bottle. Make sure you don't knock the bottle over. And just work the pump. You want to do that until you see the fluid start to come back out. Alright, once you see it start trickling back out, that's when you know it's full. Put the plug back on there, and I believe the torque value for it is 24 Newton meters. So torque it back down, and then it's not a bad idea to clean everything up down here, just so you know, it doesn't get all dirty and grimy. And after you get everything clean, that's when you can put the bracket back up there. Just bolt everything back up there like you took it down, and then we'll move on to the next part. Next part is to fill is your differential, and basically you do the same thing. Just take your transfer pump, stick it down in there, and until you see the fluid start to come back out, and then you put your drain plug back on there. For your differential, there's several different fluids you can use. You can use the OEM. This is what I'm going with. This will go in your rear differential and your front differential, and both basically the same thing, except your front differential has a drain and a field plug. Your rear differential does not. Alright, the last part is doing your rear differential. Same deal with the drain plugs, 14 mil Allen head. The thing about our differentials is there's no, I guess you could say there's no drain plug. There's only a field plug, which you have to drain it out, which means you'll need a transfer pump. Just you can go up to Walmart and get one. Just stick one in the part that sucks the fluid out, and you'll have to try and angle it up and down to get the majority of the fluid out, and just suck all of it out. Not a whole lot of it, as you can see. And to refill it, just do the opposite. Put the other end in your new fresh bottle of fluid, suck it out, pump it back in there until you see a stream running out, and then put your drain plug back on there, and you're done. Easy open seal. Yeah, that seems real easy. Stick one end of the pump into the bottle, this end in here, and just take the pump and make sure it's all over here. That ain't it. This stuff stinks. Alright, one end goes inside the bottle, the other end goes inside the differential like that. Take your pump, and just keep pumping it in there until you see it start to run back out. Oh, stay in there. Make sure you got something up under there to catch the fluid. Paper or something. Come on. Ew. And you want it to start coming back out like that. And you see it start to run back out.
Smoke some, bitch.
That's when you take your fill plug and you put it back in. That's it for that video. As you can see, I look completely fucking different. But guess that was the last thing I really needed to do other than put the exhaust on. So driving soon, driving video coming soon. Race video, I don't know, definitely soon. So I'll keep y'all up on what's going on. Y'all take it easy out there. Hit the like button, subscribe, help a brother out. Holla at me.